I'll start us out. We are now live. This is our first official family chat documentary. It is Easter weekend 2026, and we are live from Kinston, North Carolina. You all see the names present today. It's not going to be a long live, but I've been wanting to do this, and I realize that there's no time like the present. And when I say this, just the conversation that I have on, camera, live discussion with my family. Like I have a lot of little snippets from Snapchat and other places like that. So we're just going to start with introductions. And Grandma, since you're the oldest, do you want to go first, or do you want to, like, you can kind of control, but I think we should just introduce ourselves first, and then it's just going to be a conversation.
Well, there's not much that I can say about myself except that I'm Ashley's grandmother.
What's your name? Full name? Where you from?
My name is Clementine Dunn Bryant.
Okay.
And I am from Lenoir County, near Kinston, North Carolina. And that's where I was born.
It's not. It is.
And that's about
where were you? Ma, see, you're making it something that's not supposed to be. See how we can't ever go live because my mother's be. So, Grandma, you grew up in Lenoir County. What year were you born, if you're comfortable sharing, or do you just want to say, or I was born before this?
Okay, I was born back there in the late 30s.
Okay. And do you remember anything about the late 30s?
Not really. I don't remember. Some things I do remember.
Well, what's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory about that is my family, my grandmother and my mother and my father. I think I knew them when I was younger.
Okay.
And I can always remember being, when I was that age, I was always afraid of something that I was afraid of.
Okay. So we got Grandma that went up first. She is from Lenoir County, so Kinston, Sand Hill Township. I guess that's how you would refer to it. And she is going to bring us expertise and facts as we move forward from someone born in the late 30s. So next up, we'll have my mother introduce herself, say a little bit about who she is and her earliest memory. And then I'll introduce myself, and then we'll just kind of freestyle a little bit because I just wanted to see what this would look like. This may be the only time we get a chance to do something like this. So, Mom, if you could just tell us who you are, where you from, if you want to say generation instead of age or year, because I know that me and you are really practically twins, with age, then. So.
Yes.
You don't have to unmute yourself, Mom, because they can hear you through mine.
Okay. Solid. I'm the mother. I'm Kay. I was born in the late 60s. Baltimore, Maryland is my hometown. And what was the question?
Just tell us a little bit about you. I mean, is there anything you want to know? And I started with, what's your earliest memory?
My earliest memory is eating plaster out the wall and making my own bottles. I do remember both of those things as a kid. And I remember, and I was not quite 5 years old when I was doing this. And I like the outdoors. I play softball. I like riding my bike. I work out. And that's pretty much. And I love my family.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. Thank you. So I'll introduce myself. This is 3 generations present. I'm a millennial. I'm Ashley, Pool of Positivity. I was born in Baltimore. I just put up a status and I asked people that don't live in their hometown if they would move back. So I was born in Baltimore, spent my childhood there, but then moved to North Carolina. So I consider North Carolina home because that's where I got my driver's license. But a lot of people can always tell me that, I hear something that doesn't always sound like North Carolina. And now I live in Philadelphia. I'm a Virgo, and I'm very interested in motivation. I've recently learned about intergenerational trauma. And even though I had heard it kind of discussed freestyle like to hear like the science behind it, I wasn't as familiar. So that was really like the catalyst for me saying I'm finally going to do this, because I do research on social media and mental health. I'm always posing questions, but I really just wanted to have a conversation with my mother and my grandmother that even if no one else sees this, it's something that I can go back to. And so I guess my first question would be, we're right at 5 minutes. So we, like I said, we're not going to keep this long, but this will be an ongoing series. But I guess we'll start with you, Mom, since you, we started with Grandma last, but how should a person live knowing that they're going to die? And you can take time to think about it.
I don't believe you should wait to live. I don't think you should. If you're, I think the same way that you live if you were not going to die is the same way you should live if you were going to die. So if you were going to die, I think if you lived the right way, you would really have no maybe regrets because you lived life on your terms. You lived out loud. You did everything that you wanted to do. So, and that's how I try to live my life. So I don't have any regrets. Anything that I want to do, I want to try, I want to taste, I want to smell, I want to, whatever it is, I'm going to find a way to try to live my life out loud and like I want and on my terms. I'm not waiting for anything. So I think at the end of the day, if you live life on your terms every day, you don't have to change anything.
Okay, so
Faced with death.
So in summation, because the question is, how should one live knowing that they're going to die? They really just need to just do things that they want to do, not like, not let anything get in the way. Like, is that what you're saying? Like, can you give us like, because that was a lot of great feedback, but is there like one, like closing way you can capsule all of that good information? Like, should they live like, should they be unapologetically them?
Yes.
Should they,
Yes,
like walk on the wild?
Unapologetically yourself.
Okay.
Stay true to yourself in all things.
Okay. All right. So being unapologetically you. All right. Okay, Grandma, you're up next. After living, the question is, how should one live knowing that they're going to die?
Well, that question for me be answered two ways.
Okay.
Okay, now you're going to die.
Right.
Everybody knows they're going to die.
Well, not every,
No,
well,
no,
I guess so,
okay.
yeah, because some people believe in like reincarnation. So whether they think that's like a true death or not, because they might think they can get,
Okay, well, I always look at this dying as leaving this world. And here's what I think, that if you have a death date that you've been given by the medical community and you pretty much don't think you're going to go past it, I think you would probably might do a bucket list. Even if you don't exactly know when you have a death date, I think that when you get to a certain stage, if you lived your past correctly, it's the closer you get to think you're going to die, the more you change your perception of how you perceive yourself. And if you find errors in what you've done in the past, and you try very, very hard to live the remaining of your days correcting and those things that you might have done in the past that you just learned by living, that this is not the way I should have handled that,
So intentionally, like I'm trying to find things. So one thing about me is, my attention span is probably a little bit shorter, but I try to be punctual to figure out like what's the takeaway. Because when we're thinking about our thoughts, it's like freestyle and you don't catch everything. So I'm trying to figure out the theme. That's why I was saying, like with my mom Hers is kind of like being unapologetically you, like doing the things that, not looking at it as, oh, I'm gonna die, but like, look, I'm living, and what do I want my choices to be? And it sounds like with you're saying being intentional.
I mean, you get to be intentional at a certain point, okay? And you have to really, really, you're not being one quarter old as I am. You don't really don't understand what I mean by being intentional. I think as you grow older and as you learn more and as you live more, things change along the line because of
your values, or are you saying society changes?
Well, society will change you. Your values do change sometimes also.
Okay, they do.
And the things that are going on make you think and about what you have done in the past and how you should have done them. And you don't get a chance to make that same mistake again.
Yeah, you don't.
So you go forward. As my father who was Herman Dunn, used to always say, to answer questions or things that he said, well, that might be one way to do it, but, and he'd always work out a but if he had to. But sometimes we go full force ahead and we do the first thing that comes in our mind that this, according to the way we were living at that time.
Okay. All right. So, Mom, how do you feel like that's how Grandma raised you to live, how she described, or what are your thoughts about her perspective?
Don't be ashamed. Go on and say it. The truth is the truth.
What's the question again?
The question is like, how should one live knowing that they're gonna die? And I was just asking for like feedback on Grandma's. Like, do you think, because I'm gonna get feedback on yours, like, do you think like her theme is in being intentional and talking about like how things change? And I mean, Grandma, it sounds like the theme for you too is also, I mean, like, I don't know if it's is regret of there because you can't go back, or
well, there are things that you regret. The way you handle things according to what your environment was or is at the time. And sometimes you especially African Americans, misled into thinking like I never knew how poor and how struggling that we were at the time. And I always was looking, some of you playing escape. You living to escape. And certain things, when you get a certain age and certain things happen, you think you have escaped and you get the right to do this, the right not to do that, or to not, your consideration of people, your job sometimes does not fit in with what you actually should be doing.
Okay.
So we make mistakes along the way, and that's one thing that I have learned. It's okay for me. It's okay to forgive. And you're going to make mistakes. There's no perfection along the line because we don't come with a book that's telling we should or we should not have done that.
Okay. But
doing the best you can is what you try to do going forward.
Okay. So, Mom, your feedback on that, on Grandma's thoughts on life. Like, do you see the evolution in her, or would you say it's been pretty consistent? Because like I said, we're going to get into intergenerational trauma. And so, okay, so we won't have that. We'll just stick with what makes you most proud when you look at our family today.
My baby.
Okay, Grandma, what makes you most proud? Because now you have how many generations after you? 5? Is it 5?
There's your mother.
Yeah.
Then it's Jay and you.
And
then there is Anita. No.
Selena. And then Selena's kids. So you got 4 generations after you. Right. What makes you most proud when you look at your family?
Would you think that Selena and Aria?
Yeah, so what makes you most proud is the fact that your lineage is still going forward?
Well, I know that's not what makes me more proud is to feel the change, the feel that I have grown to an age where I'm allowed. I find that it's okay to forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you think back and you think that some things that you should have done differently,
Mm-hmm.
going forward, you should have done them different, and you would do them different if you had them to do over again. But you don't always get a second chance. So what you have to do, you have to forgive yourself, and and sometimes.
So you're proud of forgiveness, because we're getting tangential now. So we just talking about what's the most proudest thing of, like, when you look at your family. And that's why we're doing this dry run for, ourselves, because I want us to start having conversations. So it's a couple of things that I've learned being the only Black person in my department. Like, you know what I'm saying? In terms of like faculty, like we have administrative staff, but I'm learning just different cultures and things that they do and practices and customs, and working in a research setting, I'm learning about different concepts about like living. So one thing about Black people is that a lot of our history is oral history. It's not always like documented appropriately and written down. Like the other day I posted on Facebook back to the greatest grandmother that I knew, and somebody commented and was like, did I know, can I date it back to Africa? And I said, well, I can't directly, because, certain things weren't documented appropriately when that kind of stuff came, and, just different things that people were talking about. But I'm just learning about, like where we, like you said, the things that we were misled about, how we, like, just how we do things. And that was the whole motivation for this. So I do have another question for you, Mother. We'll start with you. If you could go back to talk to your younger self, what would you say? So, like, what would you tell your 25-year-old self?
Run. Run as fast as you can. That if I could go back and tell my 25-year-old self.
So you already had me. Okay, so so think about where you was at 25. Like, pause and reflect and take us back. You had a child.
And I had tried marriage and it didn't work.
Okay.
And I was rebuilding myself.
Do you remember where you worked?
Yes, at the United States Postal Service.
At 25?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I don't remember. I don't think you would see. Yo, your timeline, and I gotta keep them on track. That's why we need generation. When I was 5, you were not at the post.
I was at the bank.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I was at the bank. I was working.
Was it in Greenmount? Where was it at? Yeah, see, I remember those.
Yeah, around the corner from where you went to school.
Yeah.
So our bank used to keep you, and shortly thereafter.
So think about that time. What would you tell yourself then? Now?
Nothing, because I had already learned a whole lot of life lessons early.
Okay.
And I had worked to correct them. I think. I don't know. I'm confused.
Okay. So.
If 25, you were 5.
Yes.
How old was you when I got married in 89? 4?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, in less than 1 year. I had learned so much in 1 year. And then, like, y'all left in 90, 91, so you might have been like 6 or 7 when Grandma and them got ready to leave.
And 92.
I was at the post office then. It was I was transitioning from the bank to the post office.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you used to go to
Dickey Hill.
Yeah, and then you went to cross country. So I was at the post office during that time. And my 25-year-old self, I would have told, I think I was doing the best, and I had learned so much, like I said, within a short amount of time, that I was on the right track at 25, and because my main concern was that I had to provide for my child and for myself. And that's what I did. And knowing that I still had goals that I wanted to achieve, and I worked towards them. But my main goal was making sure that I was a available, reliable, consistent mother to my child.
Okay. So, Grandma, my next question is for you. And maybe you see it. I think I've heard you kind of state some things, but what qualities, huh? Okay, you could take off your camera, mine, go do what you. It's the last question, Grandma, and then I'll do a wrap up. I want to know, what qualities do you see passed down from generation to generation? So, like you said, we're gonna start with you and granddad and go down to Aria.
Well, I have seen that in our family, the women are strong black women, strong-minded, and they are.
Ma, did you turn your volume down all the way?
The resiliency, they bounce back. Okay, they're not the type of people that let a mistake define what they're supposed to. The mistake can define who they are, what they're supposed to be.
Okay.
I grew up thinking that there was only one
Mistake
thing
can define who they
Mhm.
are, what they're supposed to be.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry about that, Grandma. Oh, one watching now. Who's watching us? Ha ha. Go ahead, Grandma.
And so what I'm saying,
Ma,
is
why
that
would you take it away from her? See, that's why we don't have nothing. Okay.
to be resilient, we bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we are so strong-minded. Sometimes we can come up a little bit unfair about situations, but we're just strong women, and there's a lot of variety. It's a variety of things that go on with our progress, and there are a lot of things that we have. We're so strong with it that sometimes it kind of it doesn't define our progress, but it might keep us from doing some of the things that we could do as a family because how strong-minded we are. But most of the time, I can say during the time that I was raising my children,
Mm-hmm.
we had the men were really strong, and most of us had married well into strong-minded men that were family people.
Okay.
That
So that's probably where that strength comes from too, that's been passed down.
yes,
It's not just from the women, from the men
not just from
also.
the women, it has been passed down from the generation.
My people see that you said you had to go and you keep prancing back and forth, so they see that you really neglecting the family. That's the strength Grandma's talking about. But thank you all for tapping in with us. This was very tangential freestyling. Stay tuned for more. I'm going to try to find some AI clips from this platform. Jason is actually here, and he's going to be in the discussion next. Jason, let them know. Before you go, Jason, one question I have for you is, how should we all live knowing that we're going to die?
The best way you should. I mean, live every day like it's your last.
Okay. YOLO. You only live once, so have fun. Go out there and do it. Peace. All right.